I want to welcome everyone here. I do have an announcement to make that Mark Doyle was here earlier with us, but he left yesterday because he was in quite a bit of pain, and it's our understanding that he is having emergency surgery today for a strangulated hernia. So we kind of had to convince him even to go home, but he did, and so we wish him the best, and we'll be thinking about him during this convention. We have a number of staff that will take care of what he was supposed to be doing, so it will appear seamless, although we do miss him. So anyhow, what a beautiful location we've chosen for this year's convention, and we really have to give a lot of credit to Georgia, who travels all over the United States looking for different locations, and even in the process broke her wrist this year at the San Diego Zoo, looking it over. so she's quite a trooper, though. And I hope, are you all enjoying San Diego? That's great. And I know a number of you arrived early to take advantage of all that the city has to offer. This hotel is really a perfect location to visit Seaport Village and the Gas Lamp Quarter. As some of you found out during the wonderful scavenger hunt that turned out to be quite a success. And on Wednesday, early registrants went on an amazing harbor tour with our great friend Wyland. And then on Thursday, some of you golfed at Torrey Pines, a stunning course that is home to the annual PGA tournaments. And I don't know about anybody else, but I'm still recuperating from running around. That was one big golf course. Truly, San Diego is an amazing place to relax and unwind, and I hope that all of you are enjoying it. And as much as I love all of these events, what I look forward to most is visiting with all of you personally. There's a reason that I've always referred to our convention as the National Van Lines Family Reunion. I want to see how all of you have been doing since we last met. And while I want to know how business has been, I am equally interested in hearing about your children and your grandchildren, and remarkably, some of us are having great-grandchildren. Actually, I'm having my first one in June, which is neat. I also look forward to speaking to you here during the opening session and getting you caught up on the state of the business. Someone once described it as reviewing a report card. And I thought, that really is true. We celebrate our successes, and we find out and discuss what areas we need to continue to work on. Truthfully, as an industry, this year's report card is one that as kids we might have tried to hide from our parents. Having been with National Van Lines for over 30 years, I know that we all can learn more from our failures than from our successes. And here at National, we know that the mark of a great company and a great leadership is the ability to learn from our mistakes. According to Winston Churchill, success is stumbling from failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm. And as President John F. Kennedy said, leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. That's why the theme for this year's convention is Learn, Change, Achieve. Learning isn't an isolated activity at National Van Lines. It's something that we do as a group. There's an exchange of ideas and information amongst people across divisions and in all parts of the business. We can all learn from one another. In fact, National's conventions are primarily learning events, as are the conferences put on by our industry associations like AMSA and CMSA, and both of those organizations are represented here today. We focus on workshops and seminars, industry updates, and roundtable discussions. Not a day goes by that I don't learn something in this business. It could be a simple fact that an employee shares during a company lunch at the office, or a new process that was devised to make us more efficient as a company. For an example, after all these years, I just learned a couple of years ago what the dance floor of a trailer was. With all the jobs I've held in this family business over the years, you would think I would have known that. And so I guess it's a good thing I was never a helper. Yeah. This summer, the industry found out just how much we need to learn. As Bill Gates says, your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. Simply put, the entire industry had far more moves scheduled than we had trucks. Even traditional auxiliary capacity methods weren't enough. And how could this happen? Processes and procedures that have served our industry well in the past aren't working. And when the system of checks and balances break down for the van line, their agents can't deliver on their promises. Delivery windows change, customers get frustrated, and our industry's reputation, already fragile, is damaged. Tim Hellenthal and I attended the recent AMSA Fall Board of Directors meeting, and we heard very similar stories from a number of the attendees. Many of our industry members are feeling the pinch of the driver shortage at the same time that the economy is picking up. Families, as well as our national accounts, are relocating in greater numbers, and many of them talked about service failures, delayed shipments, and not delivering on their customers' expectations. Just a few days ago, we met with the Agent Council, and while we know it was a tough summer, I'm pleased to say that with their help and suggestions, we're working very hard to find solutions to improve our service and especially our communication, not only within the system, but also with our customers. Moving forward, I think we are best served if we address the facts and acknowledge what's happening in our industry. Fact, drivers are harder and harder to come by, and new regulations like the California CARB issues and, of course, CSA scores add up to the complications. And our Amelia Island Convention in 2011, AMSA President Linda Darr outlined the growth pains that the industry is experiencing. Her top 3 bullet points in recapping the summer were: 1, delay claims up. Linda emphasized that there were not enough drivers to move all the goods that needed to be moved during the short peak season. 2, alternatives marginalize performance, meaning that the least drivers in Creighton Freight Solutions created problems, including increased cargo damage. And 3, overall outcome, higher claims cost. As a result of points 1 and 2, Linda anticipated increased claims volume for that fall. And as we all know, all of these predictions came true in 2011, and the results in 2012 were no better. At National, we experienced tremendous growth this year. In this competitive marketplace, our sales and agency team aggressively went after and landed new agents who brought hauling power with them. That growth, combined with the tonnage from our longtime agents and our military division, taxed an already overburdened system. We learned that existing software, procedures, or processes are not going to suffice when we don't have the resources to deliver what we promised. And when we can't deliver on our promises, we fail. As an industry, as a company, as individual agents and drivers, all of us. And worst of all, we fail our customers. And our customers let us know just how badly we have let them down. As we learned at the AMSA meetings, all over the country, moving and storage customers took to social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Yelp. While some were exaggerated, in many cases, the complaints were justified. Pickup and delivery dates were missed, and customers' expectations were not met. And despite the industry's best efforts, nothing we've done so far is going to quickly restore our customers' trust and faith in us. We need to realize that we have to deliver what we promise. Our systems are failing, and we need to learn from this and bring about change. Of course, National Van Lines has changed since the last time I stood before you. 2 years ago, the ESOP, or better known as the Employee Stock Ownership Plan, purchased 100% of the company's stock from Ron and me. Employees now have a vested stake in the success of National Van Lines. The ESOP rewards their loyalty and hard work. It's their opportunity to financially benefit from the extra care and consideration they have shown our agents and drivers and customers for all these years. Our CFO, Bob Booty, our 36-year veteran, retired at the end of 2011, and we now can see that Jerry Munt has successfully transitioned into the VP of Finance position. Also, as promised, I worked on my succession planning after the last convention. As you know, Tim Hellenthal is our new president and COO, and in 2020, he will take over the reins as chairman and CEO of the National Holding Company, the parent to both National Van Lines and National Forwarding Company. Tim and I are working together to change the way we do things. One of these steps we took this fall was to name Mike Yost as our interim vice president of operations. Mike has been charged with improving the operation efficiencies within the department and increasing our service providers' profitability. And as Tim has let it be known that his two pet peeves are late shipments and trucks with space left unused. And as Mike learned at our last convention, he needs to deliver on these promises to keep being mentioned in my speeches, since I forgot to mention them last year. So I've been waiting for 2 years to mention them again. This summer has also taught us that we need a greater presence on social media, and we also need to focus more on the public relations to restore consumer confidence, especially after the summer that the industry has had. That's why we are working with a digital marketing firm, as well as developing a public relations campaign that will expand our outreach and leverage our successes. And we are taking a step back and re-examining everything. For example, we must not assume that people will read or fully understand their contract. I know that our customers are busy, and they are likely to rush you to move along with your explanations and processes. But everyone, from our sales teams to our drivers, need to make sure that customers' expectations are managed on the front end. If we don't, we will continue to have misunderstandings on the back end. We need to take the time to make sure our customers understand important milestones. Review the delivery windows. Tell them the earliest date and the latest date they can expect to receive their belongings. If this summer has taught us anything, it's that people are expecting and demanding more from their moving companies than ever before. We need to do everything we can to not only meet, but to exceed their expectations. Greater communications will certainly help us do that. And as an optimist, I've always enjoyed the quote, "Change brings opportunity." Tim and I both believe that these changes can lead to greater opportunities for our company in the long run. I feel now more than ever we need to make sure that everything we do helping our customers and that it's an improvement on the way we've conducted business in the past. This commitment to even greater excellence will help us achieve even more in the future. Now, my favorite part of speaking to you is telling you what we've accomplished over the past 2 years, my state of the company section of the address. Some of the most significant achievements have occurred in expanding our agent network. Mark and his team have signed on 17 new agents since the last convention, and I'm extremely pleased to say that they are financially sound and full-service organizations. The majority of these new agents came from larger industry brands or were large independent carriers looking to expand their capabilities. And those same agents have provided over 25 registered units in the service with National. Looking a little further back, agents signed since 2010 have hauled more than they have booked, providing much-needed hauling capacity. We are also continuing our trend of month-to-month double-digit historic growth. We ended 2012 up 17% over 2011. And year-to-date for 2013, we are showing an increase of an astonishing 24%. Some of our proactive achievements include adding additional valuation options, publishing seasonal pricing well ahead of the season, and facilitating our new online credit card processing site. As our customer satisfaction surveys show, there are ways to use alternative capacity solutions successfully. I commend Mike Yost and his good team for finding effective ways to stretch our capacity using new products drivers with household goods experience and still meet and then exceed customers' expectations. And he has definitely learned that communication is key. In collaboration, Tim and I have been setting some very specific goals for our future achievements. Our plans include making informed decisions based on better data and putting in place stronger, more streamlined policies and procedures. We need to better utilize our existing capacity. We need to have fuller trucks with fewer delayed deliveries. And we need to shift more business to our off-peak periods. We will be more consistent, just as Big Mac tastes the same in Tokyo as it does in Chicago. Every move needs to reflect the commitment of every single National Van Lines family member. From our drivers, to our agents, to our sales teams, we want every single experience with National Van Lines to be outstanding from start to finish. So we've come full circle with our theme, learn, change, achieve. As Henry Ford said, life is a series of experiences, each one of which makes us bigger. For the world was built to develop character, and we must learn that the setbacks which we endure help us in marching forward. I invite you to march forward with Tim and me as we lead National Van Lines to greater heights. 2 years from now, at our 2015 convention, when we look at our report card, I have no doubt that you will see great improvement. As forward thinkers, I know we will have carefully reviewed and learned from the lessons of the past. We will assign tough homework, resulting in changes. And those changes will ultimately lead us into a new era of achievement and prosperity in the moving and storage industry. Please join me in welcoming the man who will help us move to the head of the class, National Van Lines President and COO, Tim Hillenthal. Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Maureen, and thank you to everyone for the very warm welcome. I have to say, after this, we're going to have Tim Clue up here, and I thought it was interesting that I'm up here first, so you're going to have Tim without a clue, followed by Tim Clue. So, Seriously, I'm very honored and humbled to be a part of the National Van Lines family. And I want to welcome each of you to the 2013 Agent Convention here in beautiful San Diego. And this is a great hotel, a terrific location, and we're really happy to be here, and I think you will be too. Over the years, I've had the pleasure of working with and getting to know many of you. Have had the opportunity to meet even more of you over the last few months and over the last couple of days. And there are still some of you that I don't know well and that don't know much about me and my story and how I ended up here. Now, the majority of you know that I worked in national forwarding for more than 18 years before coming over to National Van Lines. However, many of you don't know that my story begins in the small farm towns of central Illinois, where my father served as the minister of tiny Southern Baptist churches, and my mother was a homemaker. Growing up, we moved several times from small town to small town, but in those rural areas of America, you don't hire movers. Rather, the church members just show up with their pickup trucks and their horse trailers, and when the work is done, you share a big potluck meal in the church basement. Near the end of my wholly unexceptional high school career, the school guidance counselor asked me if I'd ever considered going to college, to which I thoughtfully replied, sure, why not? So my story brought me to Eastern Illinois University, a small state school that I chose based on their stringent commitment to rigorous academic standards, which actually translates into that it was the cheapest state school in Illinois at the time. The sudden freedom and distractions of college life gave me the opportunity to wander somewhat aimlessly down life's path for a couple years until I finally started to learn that in life you do truly reap what you sow. And I began to put the appropriate effort into my personal life and academics. As a result, I was able to go on and earn an advanced degree in economics. Most importantly, it was at Eastern where I met a beautiful woman named Danielle, and she is the amazing woman who later became my wife for 16 years now and is the terrific mother of our 3 daughters, Lauren, Melissa, and McKenna. Not surprisingly, there were very few opportunities for an economics major in small-town America in the early 90s. So as a result, I decided to look for work in the Chicago suburbs where many of my college friends lived. And I have to say, it was a bit of luck when I answered a help wanted ad in a newspaper for a TQAP manager at a company called National Forwarding. I was very fortunate to get a position at a company that shared my ideals and ethics and really makes the effort to treat others the way we would like to be treated. A funny part of my story is the day that Maureen asked me to come to her office to discuss my taking the role as president of the van line. When I came in, she asked me to close the door and to sit down, which wasn't really a normal or expected thing to happen. So I started to wonder what was going on, and the thought crossed my mind that maybe she was going to fire me. But rather than being fired, it was more like I was fired out of a cannon. I joke, but it truly has been my privilege to serve Maureen. And National Van Lines has such a rich history, dating back to the early 1900s with Maureen's grandfather, who founded McKee's Express, which eventually evolved into National Van Lines, and Maureen and Ron following in their father's footsteps. And now I have the privilege of helping Maureen write new chapters in the company's story. My story, and the story of National Van Lines, isn't complete without recognition of the cast of characters that are its important players. First is Pat Johnson, who has been and still is a tremendous mentor and friend to me. Also, Kevin Spielman and Eileen Sherman have been great mentors and friends as well. And I also have to recognize the efforts of Cheryl Garamoni and Cindy Orfita, who have played key roles in my story. And now, I'm fortunate to have the outstanding benefits of working with a new team who are part of my story and are helping me learn the nuances of the other parts of the moving business. Mike Yost, who's simply an exceptional doer and gets the job done. Georgia Coulter, who is a great trainer and always remembers to consider things from both sides. Mark Doyle, who puts into place preparation is the separation and executes his plans brilliantly. Jerry Munt, who helps provide me with the right data and information to make good decisions and make sure that we don't spend too much money. And really all the staff at National Van Lines who show up every day and put forth their earnest and sincere effort to provide service to our customers. Now, over the last 8 months, I've learned a lot about the distinct differences between the military and civilian sides of our business. Those really exciting things like driver qualifications and CSA scores, and other distinctions like our customer base. Now, both the military customer and the COD customer want a great move. However, I think the military customers are more content with vending up one level in the chain of command as they are taught to do in the service. The COD customer, on the other hand, who tends to be a lawyer, doctor, or VP, isn't satisfied with the next level in the chain if something goes wrong with his or her move. He or she wants to talk to the president of the company, period. Another area that is distinctly different is the sales function. The van line, with our civilian business, attempts to win individual customers and market to them individually by building a brand. Whereas on the military side, volume is based on a best value score that's determined by our customer satisfaction survey. It simply requires a different set of tools to reach the customers. I've also learned more about the important role that our agent council plays in providing us with important feedback. That helps us to learn and turn the page towards change. And recently, we have made changes. The biggest ones are in our operations department. Last month, we named Mike Yost as the interim VP of operations, as Maureen said. Mike has been with us for over 20 years and has been serving as the VP of our special commodities fleet. Mike's brought a great energy and sharpened focus to the department already, and we're seeing positive changes on a daily basis. It is clear now that after seeing Mike in action and having the opportunity for direct discussions with Mike about operations, that he and I share the same vision for how our operations department should work. As a result, I'm announcing him today as the permanent replacement for our operations, Vice President of Operations. Mike, I'm sorry that I caused Bobby to hug you. We are also streamlining our new products division into a more closely aligned and synergistic role within our operations department so that we can maximize flexible capacity during the peak season and provide additional opportunities during the non-peak season. To complement these functional changes, we're also making a significant investment in providing new and updated technology to the operations department. As part of that, we're currently doing a review of every operations screen to find ways to provide efficiency and better service to all of our customers. Additionally, we're creating some exciting new programs that will provide the best opportunities for our drivers and our agents and really give us a competitive advantage in the marketplace. Now, each of these elements is also aimed at providing better communication with all of our customers. Many of you that know me have probably heard me say that every good operations story has an element of good communication in it, and every bad operations story has an element of bad communications in it. The changes we're making are helping our people and our IT infrastructure to do a better job of communicating, and you will see that impact. Another change that we've made is the investment in the development of our brand new website that went live yesterday, and our overall commitment to a focused web strategy. Our website is going from an informational website to a digital marketplace where we will attract customers and provide agents with organic branded leads that are significantly better than the generic leads we often purchase from third-party providers today. You can learn more about that in the workshop, Digital Made Simple, presented by Jonathan Kaufman from Advice Interactive Group this afternoon. Also, I'd like to point out another significant change. Rich Nichols, our Director of Safety, has announced that he is retiring at the end of the year. Rich has been a great steward for the company. He works very hard to ensure that he protects the interest of National. However, that turning page brings us the exciting opportunity to welcome Laura Manning, who will take over as the Director of Safety in 2014. She is already a terrific asset to the company, and I know we have very much to look forward to with her. You can learn more about Laura and changes to the FMCSA regulations this afternoon in her workshop. The other key component of our change is improving our customer service across the enterprise. We have begun leveraging our customer service surveys to provide us with opportunities for improvement. We think these individual surveys are like one-person focus groups, and we use that data in an active way to review our weaknesses and provide areas for improvement on every single survey that we get in. I'm also announcing that we're adopting a new company-wide customer service training program to provide our employees with the best tools so that we can provide great service to our customers. We will empower our employees to take the necessary actions that benefit our customers. When we think about our customers, I believe it is important for us to think of them in the story context as well. When we move someone, we are helping them turn the page in their individual stories. That might be the wonderful opportunity, taking a new job in a new city across the country, moving mom back from closer to the kids, or maybe moving to a warmer climate. Or it could be the ultimate opportunity for us to serve a customer when we provide a move to the family of a deceased military member. So we've talked about learning, and we've talked about changing. What is it that we hope to achieve? As Maureen alluded to, I like to break it down into two simple components. We're trying to eliminate two things. That's less than full trailers and delayed shipments. If we have full trailers and no delayed shipments, we have happy driver customers and happy moving customers, which translates to happy agent customers, and those things lead to our success. Our future chapters then result from and lead to improved quality of sales, quality of our work, and improving the capacity to deliver great relocation solutions to our customers. I recently read a story that I thought really highlights the concept of learn, change, achieve. The story is about a baseball player who was a prize recruit out of Houston, Texas, and he had agreed to play baseball at Texas Christian University. The TCU coach said, and I quote, "He came to TCU and was everything we thought he would be as far as how hard he played the game and being a student of the game. But everything that he was doing away from the field was not good. Academic, nightlife, social life, big-time underachiever in terms of strength and conditioning and nutrition. His weight had ballooned to 265 pounds. He was expected to be a home run hitter, but he only had 2 homers over 62 games as a sophomore. His career was stalled, and the coach had more than once brought him in for a conversation, sometimes stern, with him about his efforts or lack of efforts. And then just 8 games into this player's junior year, the injury came. He hurt his arm trying to throw home and was going to require Tommy John surgery. And the coach summoned him into his office again and encouraged him to look at this as an opportunity, once again hoping to reach him, saying, if you would learn to apply your on-field traits to the rest of your life, you'd be more successful. Look at this injury as an opportunity to focus on the rest of your life. And this time the message took. The player went to work. He began eating right, began seriously working out by running 5 miles a day and lifting weights. He even began attending class regularly and putting forth effort in his academics. He lost 55 pounds in 6 months. He made the academic honor roll every semester after that. This player went on to say, I finally realized that I can't just work at the field, I had to do it in all phases. That was the transformation. When I started making those changes, it almost became an obsession. Now, his changes eventually led to him being drafted to play in the major leagues, where he had a respectable rookie season in 2012. At the end of the 2012 season, his team asked him to change again. This time he was to learn a new position and move from third base to second base, and they needed him to learn it in just 5 months before spring training. So this player took off just 2 days in the off-season before getting to work at the new position. And he arrived at spring training 2 full weeks before the rest of the team so that he could get extra work with the infield coaches. Then shortly after the beginning of the season, he was also asked to learn to change his position in the batting order and to become a leadoff hitter, which is not something everyone can do. The player is named Matt Carpenter. He's now the starting second baseman for my favorite team, the St. Louis Cardinals, who are just 1 game away from being in the World Series. His achievements after he learned a new position this year: first, he was named to the National League All-Star team. Not only that, but he led all National League second basemen with a .321 batting average and was 3rd overall in the entire National League. He broke Stan Musial's club record for 55 doubles by a left-hander in a season. He had a .400 on-base percentage, which was the highest by any Cardinal player in over 40 years. And he's likely to be in the top 3 or 4 for most valuable player voting this season. Yes, he learned, he changed, and he achieved a few times. Ultimately, our achievement lies in providing the right support to our customer, to help our customers tell their stories. That, in turn, helps each of us tell our stories as employees, agency owners, mothers, fathers, and on and on. When we apply what we learn to change ourselves, our processes, our businesses, our service to help our customers achieve their dreams, we're closer to achieving our own dreams. And don't be fooled into thinking this is some sprint to the finish or quick fix. In fact, I think we can take the lesson from the famous story about the tortoise and the hare. Like the tortoise, our efforts have to be steady and consistent. And in this light, our challenge is to be better today than we were yesterday, and to be better tomorrow than we are today. People often say that it's slow and steady that wins the race. Slow has nothing to do with it. It's the steady that wins the race. That's what allows the tortoise to overtake the hare. He's relentless. And if you take it one step further, begin to realize that there really isn't a finish line, because our stories never end. Our relentless efforts become an endless cycle of improvement where we learn, we change, and we achieve together. Thank you.